So, my name is Belarus for those who don't know me, and those who do know me, well, screw them. I will call this Ruthless Review Part 1 Weapon Usage, where I will compare my favorite RPG games that have very little correlation with one another for reasons unknown to anyone. So do not expect much quality from this, because I am doing it more for fun than anything else, so let us cringe together. I will be rating these games, adding and redacting points until the winner is announced, and I am fully biased as to which game I do want to win, but I mean, who knows. I may yet surprise myself with that not being the case. And now glare at my great Photoshop skills, where I spent 20 minutes looking for how to make a goddamn triangle until I asked ChatGPT on how to do it. So, there will be a Cyberpunk 2077, a dystopian imagined future of what our own reality could be, with lots of correlations, of course, with today's time, since Baba Yaga does come from our time. Then there is Red Dead Redemption 2, a western blast from the past, cowboys and revolvers flying and flailing about. Basically the closest of the four to real-life struggles, and also one of the most realistic games presenting horses shitting. Then there is Warframe, a full sci-fi addition to the gaming world with martial arts synthetic robots that are trying to save the solar system from God knows what. Because the story makes zero sense to anyone and everyone enjoys it because it is an absolute badass in that non-existing storytelling. And then, of course, there is The Witcher 3. About white-haired ex-Superman and Warhammer fan that is fighting the forces that can travel through space and time and somehow wins. Because he has cat-like reflexes. So, the score. -1 is bleh. Nothing special. -2 is not good, basically for bad quality. -3 is getting into the really bad territory. -4, hopefully I won't give that score, and -5 is just completely game breaking, which I do not think there is anything like that in these games, or at least I haven't encountered them after hundreds and hundreds of hours of playing. So +1 is okay, better than normal. +2 would be actually good implementation. +3 will be holy shit, that's good. +4 are the things that make me cry, which doesn't really happen. And +5 would be better than sex, so which I forgot all about, so anything is better than that. And 0 is 0, which is irrelevance incarnate. And here are 4 pictures, the glory of editing at play. So, let's start with shooting of different weapons that we can actually compare, which amazingly is not a lot. Excluding The Witcher, of course, that has the most abundant collection of weapons in the whole gaming world. 2 whole swords. Now, the Cyberpunk. I will give this 2 points for silver hand pistols, right from the get-go, since there are actual mechanics to it working, from the bullet shell flying out after firing, to the slide fully working, going back after firing and resetting firing mechanism. And the actual firing is okay, which will be the same for most weapons, nothing spectacular. And the biggest disappointment, of course, in the whole game is that bullet holes are the same no matter what weapons you use, and that will be the same for all other games. So I will not be adding them to an account since it will be quite redundant. So for that I will give every game -1 point for bullet holes. This is the only weapon with cool reloading, because it's the only weapon that they actually worked on properly. So I will give +1 points for the pistols, or better yet, the pistol in the game, because it really is cool compared to all of the others, of course. Now for Red Dead 2, firing here is fairly simplistic, which deserves 0 points. It's okay, not more than that. Bullet holes, same for basically every weapon here. Reloading is basic, and John is of course doing magic tricks here, spawning new clip out of thin air. But reloading is standard, so yeah, definitely 0 points. And the Warframe. Unbelievably, for some reason, has the worst shooting out of all games here. And the unbelievable part is because it's primarily a shooting game. And it does have some awesome ones for sure, but that's about it. So I will give 0 points on these pistols and all the other pistols in the game. Of course, if you add mods, you can alter its firing mode to some degree, but it's fairly small. And of course, screw the ribbon mods. Bullet holes, all the same, but the game actually has more variations than other three. Few more, but our bar is so low that I will take anything at this point. So basically 0 points. Now revolvers. For Cyberpunk, revolvers are okay. Firing is nothing special, holes are the same as everything else. Debris from the bullet hitting the surface is all the same as all other firing. Reloading is okay, but nothing special, standard, so 0 points for that. Also, aiming is just standard too, as with all weapons, and it changes nothing really except a little bit of accuracy as with most of other games. So I will generally skip aiming unless it's something really unique, so yeah, 0 points. Red Dead Redemption revolvers are also standard and nothing special, which is sad since it's the game that revolves around revolvers. Is there a pun here? No, there isn't. Holes are same as all others, shooting is meh, reloading is doing magic tricks again, pulling bullets out of thin air, but still standard, nothing special, so basically 0 points here. Warframe is probably the only game here that actually uses recoil while shooting that you can of course offset with mods, but on a basic level most things actually have decent recoil as most guns would normally have, so we'll give +1 points to Warframe because of that, because other three are just plain dumb. Holes are the same, reloading I will generally skip on Warframe because it's just as basic as it gets in almost everything. Now, precision guns. I will just take that name from Cyberpunk for all of them, going with Power 1 here, that is also an exploding one. Why does it have so much power behind it? I do not know, but it looks like it's doing more damage to the walls than to the enemies, which I will go through in another video. Reloading is just changing the magazine / clip, holes the same, firing the same, so basically 0 points of course. And Red Dead Redemption. Again, basic shooting, basic holes, basic sound. The sound doesn't reflect off of anything, same as all other games here. No echo, no nothing. It's very simplistic. Same goes for all of the long barrel rifles, but I will give kudos to the game because on most long barrel rifles, outside of normal reloading of the clip, you have to switch the lever to eject the spent casing so the new one would go in, so I will give +1 point to that. Warframe fails again for what it's supposed to be. Normal shooting, normal hose, normal reload, normal firing, normal sound, goddamn normal. 0 points. So we'll put automatic rifles in the same category, no matter how many subspecies are there. Assault rifles here work pretty much the same way as submachine guns that only fire faster. I mean, go figure. But amazingly, assault rifles in Cyberpunk are quite powerful even without any talents put into it. But that is about it. Many normal bullets, many normal holes, many normal reloadings, many normal flarings of the barrel, many normal everything. So 0 that as points. There is only one technically automatic weapon in Red Dead Redemption 2, the mounted minigun, which does look a little bit out of place, but it's an insane badass weapon if you get your hands on one. For this game it could be called Mounted Calamity basically, and it's the only weapon that leaves proper holes after firing and deals an insane amount of damage if you can utilize it properly. So this one gets +1 points. And another failure for Warframe for what it's supposed to be. Normal shooting, normal host, normal reload, normal firing, goddamn normal, everything. So basically, again, 0 points for Warframe. For normalcy. Now, bow and arrows. Of course, Cyberpunk has no bows, which it's absolutely amazing. The future without the past is so stupid. How the hell do you make a futuristic game without bows and arrows inside it? And it could really work quite well with Cyberpunk, but obviously there is none, so -1 points for this abuse that they did. Now, Red Dead Redemption thankfully has bow and arrows, and they work quite well. Reload works nicely where John/Arthur pulls arrow from the pocket or inventory. No quiver unfortunately, but it does look proper. Plus you can pick up most of the arrows back up if they are not destroyed after you fire them and they stick to either enemies or the surface that you fire them at. And so basically the wastage is very minimal. I just wonder what's with all the dust from the bullets and arrows after hitting something. How dusty was the Wild West, I mean, seriously. But +1 points to Red Dead Redemption for bleak realism. There are also different types of arrows that you can craft or buy, but outside of the exploding ones, they are quite irrelevant for overall gameplay. And the Warframe has okay bows and arrows, and functions much better than I expected once seeing in slow motion. The arrow releasing creates the shockwave. Tenno picks up arrows from the back like from a quiver, and the arrow stays stuck into the surface for a short amount of time. So I will give Warframe +1 point because it's not all that bad as other things in Warframe in the terms of weapons. And The Witch... oh my god. The Witcher has crossbows, amazingly. We have to do with what we have, I guess. The shooting is fine, normal. Arrows stuck to the surfaces properly. They can stick to the shields of enemies or to the enemies themselves, and reloading is fairly good. Geralt also does John's tricks where he pulls arrows out of thin air to reload, but I can survive with that. But since it's very mundane, 0 points for this one, and same as Red Dead Redemption, you can craft a bunch of other arrows that have even less function than in Red Dead Redemption 2, so another 0 points here. And now we have snipers. Here we have 2 power snipers and 1 tech sniper. One is normal sniper, second is with exploding rounds, and the tech one shoots colorful bullets. Okay! What I like is that on the power sniper, after you shoot, you pull the lever to eject the spent casing that flies out, and new bullet goes into the barrel to be shot next. So I will give +1 points for that, same as for Red Dead Redemption guns. Other than that, everything else is just basic. Even for exploding rounds, they hit the surface and do nothing really to it. Red Dead Redemption snipers, outside of their range, precision, offer nothing of importance. How specific weapons work on enemies, I will cover that down the line, but snipers in Red Dead Redemption 2 are fairly disappointing, so yeah, 0 points for this one. And Warframe snipers do not differ much. The holes that they make though are amazingly different, just a little bit, but there is a difference. They glow for some time, more, which we can assume is from strong impact. I just wanted to add at least one reloading of normal weapons that is also normal and unremarkable in any way. So 0 points for snipers in Warframe, of course. And now shotguns. Of course, another meh moment for Cyberpunk. Shotguns that shoot bullets in spread pattern, I mean, absolutely amazing. Reloading on a faster shotgun is bullet by bullet on a double barrel, both shells at the same time, nothing really special, holes are the same, everything is the same. So 0 points of course here. So now for Red Dead Redemption, which has 3 different shotguns, 2 long-barreled ones, one that is automatic and the double-barreled one, and sawed-off ones that are being used as one-handed weapons, so you can have 2 at the same time. So they shoot normally and reload normally, and leave damage to the environment normally, same as everything else. But what is actually amazing for all of the Red Dead Redemption weapons is that you can shoot while aiming, which is slower but more precise, or from the hip, which is faster and of course less precise. But it adds the variety of how you can approach the actual shootings, which of course differs quite a lot from other games because it acts quite differently from them. So I will give it a +2 points on difference between hip and aim shooting here, since it does go for most weapons and it does add some ingenuity to the fighting in Red Dead. And now shotguns for Warframe are quite unimaginative. So you have normal ones, you have speeding ones, energy ones and such, but all are very plain, same as all other weapons. They might leave some environmental damage more than other weapons, but that is about it. So basically another 0 points for nothing. So exploding weapons for Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk does have a cool pistol with exploding rounds, with cool slow reloading, and shotgun that does a few exploding rounds at the same time. Explosion effects are standard, reloading for shotgun is standard, same as for the pistol, holding is standard, everything is pretty much standard, so 0 points for normalcy. Now Red Dead Redemption has technically one exploding weapon, which is bow and arrow, where arrow is strapped with dynamite and the explosion effect is actually visually cool. The tree here did not catch fire, but things will sometimes do so. It is also pleasing that you can see arrow flying all the way to the target properly and then just skip frames and pixels to hit whatever thing you are aiming at. So basically 1 plus point here for Red Dead Redemption because of that. And Warframe does unbelievably have some cool exploding weapons, which is probably the only cool thing weapon-wise that they put in here. Cannon weapons do create amazing explosions, and reloading is also interesting by actually adding cannonballs into the barrel to refill for the next onslaught of dealing very little damage to hordes of enemies. Unless you have mods, of course, the mods are everything. So +1 points because they won't get any after this. And what do you know? The Witcher actually has arrows that are called exploding, but in reality just spew a little bit of fire and have no collision with the trees, but can kill non-threatening animals, which is obviously so important in this game. So yeah, 0 points. I give all the thanks to me, and maybe also me. So like, subscribe, and of course, the most important thing you have to remember, do not talk about the Fight Club.